Realtors, when you log into your CRM, do you see a complete mess where everybody's just all over the place and you don't know where people belong? Well, that's the biggest problem that I see most realtors have when they're trying to dial in their new CRM. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna show you guys how to practice good database hygiene by aligning your clients with the proper pipeline, or what I call a customer journey. This is so important because if you log into your CRM and it's just a mess, then it's confusing, it's overwhelming, and you feel like, why am I even in here? And then you end up with a very expensive Rolodex. And that's not what we want, right? We want you to be able to log into your CRM. We want you to be able to know exactly where every single client is at in their client journey, know exactly what move to make, and also make it capable to being automated based on where they're at in the journey. So I'm going to drop a tutorial today that's going to show you exactly how I set up my Lofty pipeline line by line, or what I like to call the client journey. So let's jump right in and show you how it's done. All right, so here we are inside our Lofty main lead display here, and the pipeline lives right here, guys. And what I want you to think of is, even though we call it a pipeline in Lofty, I want you to think of this more as the customer journey. This is going to be the journey that the customer takes throughout coming into our system all the way through closing. So as you can see here, we've got new lead, attempting contact, nurture, cold, warm, hot, appointment set, showing, pending, closed, bad leads, do not contact, and vendor. Now, one thing that I think a lot of people do end up getting wrong with the pipelines is they kind of create groups. And groups are not the customer journey, okay? There's a certain set of conditions, which we'll go over here, where I do kind of create such as a group, something like agents or something like that, or an archive folder, because every lead inside of Lofty has to live somewhere in the journey or in the pipeline, okay? So where a lot of people end up going wrong is they'll try to set up one for like first-time home buyers or VA buyers or my sphere of influence, and they create that as a pipeline, but in reality, that's not a journey point, right? A sphere of influence or a first-time home buyer or a veteran buyer is not part of the client journey. That would fall into a group, or what Lofty calls segments. And I'll do another video on segments later, but those are segments. So when we think about our pipeline, we want to optimize this to be the client journey itself. So from when the lead first comes into our system all the way through the entire process until eventually we close them, they become a past client. Okay. So what I like to do with my Lofty is I like to edit these pipelines. Now, if you're on a brokerage provided version, other than like Real Broker, you're probably not able to edit the pipeline, and you'll be able to know if you can edit the pipeline by this little gear being there or not. If it's not there, that means you're a user underneath somebody else's administrative profile, aka like your broker, and you can't edit those pipelines. So for that, you kind of just have to get a workaround, or you want to explore what it would look like to get your own version of Lofty where you can have that full control. And if that's something you're ever looking for, just hit me up. I can definitely let you know what that looks like and see if it's a good fit for you. So this is the stock Lofty pipeline, or the stock customer journey. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I think it's close, but it's not all the way there. So I actually edit my own custom, and I'll have a key, which I call my pipeline key, and I'll have this key available for you guys. If you comment below, just hit me up, say, I want to customize my Lofty pipeline, or say pipeline key, and I'll drop you guys a link below so you can get access to my key and you can do this exact same setup. This is something that I used all the way back in the day when I was an ISA. It's always worked for me really well, and it's super simple. And that's exactly what I want to do, is I want to simplify this process to where I know where every lead is at in their journey, and I can help them get to the next step. So I keep everything organized in order. I want them to drop in as a new lead, move their way down the line as quickly as possible, all the way until they end up in closed here. All right. So what I usually do is I'm going to edit this first out. The new leads, just so you know, if we go to edit here, you're going to see there's no new leads pipeline here. And that's because the new leads pipeline by default is not editable, not changeable. You can't delete it. So this is where every new lead that comes into Lofty lands, right? So they come in off of a PPC or a Facebook ad or Zillow or Realtor. They land here until you touch them and move them. Same thing if you add a lead manually, it'll land at new leads unless you choose the pipeline destination to be something different when you're actually uploading the lead. And also same thing with your mass imports, unless there's already a pipeline listed in the column for the mass import. So new lead stays there. Attempting contact is great. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory, right? New lead comes in the system. We try to give them a call. They don't answer. You move them immediately to attempted contact. And then that's where we try to contact them until we get them on the phone. Now, once we get them on the phone, we have the opportunity to move them to a couple of different pipelines here. But in my opinion, it's too basic. I want it to be a little bit more advanced, but still simple, right? Just more advanced in the terms that I can set people's timeframes up a little bit better, and I can trigger certain automations to take place based on how far out they are. So what I like to do is I like to take nurturing and cold, and I like to split them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to this edit wheel, and I'm going to go add a new pipeline, or I can edit this one. So first, I'm just going to add a new pipeline. And for my cold pipeline, I also put my time frame there. So anything between 12 and 24 months, I call cold. That means that this buyer or seller is not planning on making a move or a decision for the next 12 to 24 months. I create this pipeline. They go on a certain journey. Okay. So to do that, I just paste it right there and I hit save. And now once I've saved it, they actually do show up, but they show up all the way at the bottom. So I want to adjust this because I, once again, want my pipeline to go in order. All right. So I put it right underneath attempted contact, and I'm going to click save. And now you're going to see I have new leads, attempting contact, cold, 12 to 24 months. And then I have my nurturing cold. So the next one that I do is I choose nurture as standalone on its own. And nurture is going to be any lead that's between 6 to 12 months out. So what I could do is create a new one here, or since this one already exists, I'm just going to change this one here. So what I do is just click that little edit button on that, or I just click on this and I can change that edit and I can save it. And now you can see nurture is 6 to 12 months. All right. The next is going to be warm. Now we already have a warm pipeline, so I'm just going to copy mine because I like to put the time frames there. It helps me a little bit better. And especially if you're newer, it helps you understand when your lead tells you, hey, I'm 3 to 6 months out, or I'm 4 months out, you know, they go into warm, we can nurture them on the warm style automations. And then the next one is going to be hot. Hot, same thing. It's got a time frame associated with it. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to change that to 0 to 3 months, and I'm going to hit save. And you might wonder, why are you hitting save after every one of these? Well, Lofty can be a little bit finicky on that. If I go add a bunch of new pipelines and move stuff around and then I hit save, it seems like it only saves the last action. It doesn't save everything I did while I had that window open. So for that reason, I just save everything as it goes. Okay. The next pipeline is appointment set. And I love this one, right? Because we end up talking to a lead, right? We call a new lead comes in, we call them, they don't answer. Okay. We call them the next day, they answer, they say, oh, you know what? I'm actually 0 to 3 months out, or I want to move within the next 30 days. We move them over to hot. Anytime somebody goes into hot, I don't go more than a week without talking to them. So I call them a couple days later. They're like, hey, we actually found this 123 Main Street. We'd love to go take a look at it. I say, great. We set that appointment. I move them to appointment set. So now I know who I have the appointment set with and where they're at in their journey, right? They're no longer in hot. Yes, they're still hot, but I've set an appointment. Now we're going to meet. And I want them to be in this pipeline so I can know who I have the appointment set with. Now, let's assume that we show up to the showing. This has probably happened to all of us at least once. We show up to show them the home and they don't show, or they call ahead of time and they cancel. Happens all the time, right? Well, I want to set them into an appointment missed part of the pipeline. So that way I know we've set an appointment in the past and they missed that appointment. And then I will have automations that will try to get them to rebook. So I'm going to go back into the edit, and I'm going to put appointment missed in there. And then we're going to go ahead and save that into the pipeline. And you're going to see it shows up all the way at the bottom, but I want it next to appointment set. So now they come to the appointment. Great. We sign an agreement. If they miss it, they go to appointment missed. And this is a really good time saver in my opinion, because if they go to appointment set and then they don't make the appointment, then I just have to move them to appointment missed, and my automations can be triggered based on them going into appointment missed. So now I'll send a series of emails and texts to get them to attempt to get them to rebook another appointment or another showing. Okay. And then the next one is let's say that they did show up to the appointment, and, we go see the house and they sign our buyer agency, and we now have an active buyer. Well, that is what I would change showing to. So what I do is instead of showing, I like to use active buyer. And I'll tell you why, because I don't want to mix my buyers and sellers up. I will in the end, but when I have a buyer that's actively looking, I want them in my active buyer. When I have an active seller that's signed an agency agreement and could potentially be on the market, I'm going to put them under active seller. So that's the next pipeline that I'm going to add here. Okay. So I just add active seller there, and I'm going to go back into it, and I'm going to drag it right next to active buyer. So that way, as they move their way through the pipeline, like I said, right, we end up setting an appointment with them. We get a listing contract signed, they go to active seller. We get a buyer's contract signed, they go to active buyer. Now I'm showing people, and I have a listing coming up. It could be on the market, it could be coming soon, either or. I'm going to leave them an active seller. And then the next part is going to be pending here. So you can see if we scoot down the line a little bit, we have pending. Pending, I leave alone. You can change it to under contract if you want, but that's basically what it means. Pending, firm, under contract. So my active buyer, we're looking at houses. We make an offer. Buyer's offer gets accepted. I move them over to pending, right? Active sellers on the market. We get an offer on our listing. We sign that offer. We're now pending. So active buyers and active sellers now land in the same pending spot. From there, after we close them. If we fall out of contract, they move back to active seller or active buyer. If something changes in here, like let's say your buyer's like, oh my gosh, Adam, I just lost my job. I'm going to be 12 to 24 months out. Well, I move them from active buyer back down the pipeline to cold, and we move them through again as they go. So what we're trying to do is create just a nice, smooth sequence of the buyer or client journey as the pipeline. So I don't really put anything in here that's a group wise. It's just the client journey. And then once they close, they go to close. And that's where all my past clients are going to live. Now, I don't have a lot of clients in here because this is a demo account because YouTube doesn't like me showing real data, but this is where all of my past clients are going to live. I'm going to nurture them from there, but I have all my closed peeps right there and they always stay there. Now, the next one you see on Lofty is bad leads. Well, I don't see that as being a client journey. If it's a bad lead and it's not a good lead, then what do we do with that? Throw it in the trash, right? We're not hoarders here. We want to keep good database hygiene. Another thing that you should know about Lofty is they have a deleted leads section that hides under these views. And this is literally a pipeline status. All right. It's just not a visible pipeline. So my bad leads can go live there and stay out of my pipeline or my client journey here so it doesn't get fully bloated and convoluted. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually remove that. And I'm also going to remove the do not contact, because if somebody says not to contact them, then delete them, throw them in the deleted, right? Like, it would make sense. I don't want them clogging up my client journey here. I want it just to be where the client's going at in their journey. Now we have the vendors here, which you can put your vendors in Lofty as leads if you want. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I actually use the vendors list, which is under settings. I'll show you guys how to set up vendors in another video, but we may be using Lofty for agent attraction as well, because Lofty is capable of doing that as well. So what we can do is, instead of vendor here, I can change this to agent. And that's what I'll usually do. So now if a real estate agent comes in here, and if you want to keep a log of every agent you've ever worked with, you can set them in here as a lead. The best part is that when you do set up a lead here, you can actually choose the type to be an agent. So then you know you have your agents here, right? We can email and text them, group text them, whatever we need to do with those agents if we need to get them over to our rev share downline or into our brokerage. So that's the only other thing that I would have. That's not really a journey, okay? And then the last piece of this is what happens if you have a client that was attempting to buy or sell that decided they didn't want to do anything. They changed their mind completely. They have given us no time frame. We know they may do something at one point, but we don't know if it's going to be 0 to 3 months or 2 years or more. So usually when somebody says they're more than 2 years out, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one last piece of our client journey, and that is the archive section. So what I do is I create archive, and archive, if I spell it right. So with archive, oh my gosh, archive, there we go. So with archive, what that basically means is we don't know what they're doing. They could be a cold list, right? Let's say you bring in a cold list of leads that you're farming. Make sure you have permission to call or text them before you do. You don't need permission to email people, so you can, but I think it's a little bit cringy. But you bring a cold list in. Well, since you don't know where they're at in the pipeline or in their journey, the archive folder or the archive section is where they're going to live. So at the end of the day, I'll zoom out a little bit here, but but I end up with a pretty simple pipeline. New lead comes in, I try to give them a call. They don't answer, they go to attempting contact. I give them a call, they answer, they tell me where they're at in their journey, I move them there. Once they're finally ready to meet at an appointment, they go to appointment set. If they make the appointment, we get an active buyer, we move them there. If they miss it, we move them to appointment missed, and they live there for a little bit until our automation's done running, and then we can either archive them or move them back to where they ended up deciding their time frame is. Right? Same thing with the seller. Appointment set for a listing, we move them to seller. Once we have our active buyer and seller, they go under contract, they move to pending. We get them closed, they move to closed. Any agents we've worked with that we want to take out to lunch later and try to get them in our downline, or we want to try to recruit them to our brokerage, they can live there. And then anybody who's not making a move at the moment, that's not an agent, but is a buyer or seller or a homeowner that we have not previously closed, because closed is where our past clients live. The archive folder or the archive section is where they live. So this is a pretty simple step. So this is a pretty simple setup here. I've used it for a long time very successfully. It works well when you're highly automated and you want to trigger certain smart plans based on where they're at in their pipeline. This seems to be the best, at least for me. If you guys want this key for your Lofty, please drop a comment below. I'll send you guys a link. I'll give you guys the document for my pipeline key. You can copy, paste this, use this exact setup. I'm also going to do another video on segments and SOPs. So every time I go into a lead, I want to show you guys exactly what I do. But that is pipelines, or the customer journey, in a nutshell. All right, guys, there you have it. That simplified client journey or pipeline setup in Lofty has done wonders for me over the years. It helps me stay organized. It helps with automations. And it's the primary reason that I save so much time every single day, because I know exactly where my leads are at in the process. I know exactly what needs to be done, and I can automate everything on the back end other than my phone calls and my personal touches, just on where they're at in the pipeline. So if you guys want to use my exact pipeline, make sure to drop pipeline or drop a comment below, and I will send you a link to get my pipeline key, and you can set this up exactly like I do in my Lofty. And if you're looking for your own Lofty and you're not able to edit your pipelines and you just feel like that's too big of a block, hit me up. We can talk about what it would look like to be underneath my Lofty and see if it's a good fit for you. I hope you guys got value from this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these awesome Lofty tutorials or AI updates that I'm dropping. And I'll see you guys on the next one.